All right, so long story short, we're gonna make charcoal today out of a can of beans, a can from beans, and some wood blocks from the workshop. Um, and I wouldn't even say like, I shouldn't say that. Like, I feel like saying the workshop sounds like I'm, this awesome woodworker. No, it's this is like 7, 8 years of like just to have a handful of pieces of wood. Um, and I'm gonna do it just to see if I can. See, I guess this whole thing really started maybe a year or two ago, where we got a dog. I like the dog enough. It's how it always goes with dads. Um, but whenever we go on vacation, he's not always acceptable. So I started thinking, well, what if everybody else enjoys all the vacation stuff and I go and camp with him at a campground? Or we all do as a family. And then I started thinking, like, well, what can I do with that? Stuff like, blah, 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 blah. And then I started thinking, what if I got a trailer? And then I outfitted it like a camper, but it's only like maybe 5 by 8. And then I'm starting to think, like, well, what if we do this in the cold, or it's a cold day or something like that? How am I going to heat the thing? And I've got lots of different ways of doing this. But then I started, this goes into more recently. A friend of mine named Steve, we were talking about, and I'm trying to get him to start up a YouTube channel because he does cactuses and whatnot. We started talking about how different alternative methods of heating something like a trailer, a trailer camper. And he was like, well, we could probably build a little fireplace out of, fit together cans. I was going, well, how in the world is that going to happen? Because, you've got, if you do solder them together, then how are they going to stay together when the solder heats up and melts, stuff like that? Anyway, and he just says, well, I've got this big juice can. I could probably use that. And I'm thinking, big decent sized can, bulk can and stuff. And well, today I had beans and toast. I saw the bean can and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna throw this out. And then I started thinking, wait, I wonder if I can just pack that thing full of little wood shims and blocks, little cuttings, and make charcoal in that thing. So that's what I did. And that's what we're going to show. So hit like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Here's an old bean can. I shouldn't say old. Have had it for, technically I've had it for a while, because I just got it off the shelf. And I'm going to try to pack in as many little shims and scrap wood as I can find. Now, obviously this is not going to be a heavy producer of charcoal per se. That's not going to fit in there anymore. I had these all fitting very well in until I found these last few shims. And now they're kind of screwing up my whole vibe here. So maybe I should take care of my big problems first. I'll take care of my little problems after. There we go. Big problem. Little problems. Funny how making charcoal can be a metaphor for life, huh? Take care of your big problems first. So now there's got to be a container or an opening for the coal to get out. And of course you have to put it into a fire that is currently going and then let it burn down. Around it. And then at the end you should have some charcoal inside that can. Maybe I should go and research why this works. But yeah. So again, I'm not going to say to do this, but I will say if you're going to do this and you're actually going to try to produce charcoal, you should probably do this with a number of these cans. I am noticing that like the can seems to be reshaping itself, so we're not getting quite the lid that the seal that I wanted to get here. But it's burning, and that's always fun. All right, so it's right there underneath this like gray ash of a honey locust seed pod. It's right there. You can see it. But since this is a smokeless stove, this thing is like, now it's really going. So it's like super hot in there. And I have no idea because it's like heeled over to its side now. But, and it looks like there's flames coming straight up out of it. So I don't know what we're going to do. To be honest, this is supposed to be a precursor to another charcoal making video where I was going to make biochar, but now I just don't even know what's going on. And to be honest, I never did. This is just experimental. It's fun. All right, so you can see this plume of fire coming out right there. At the base of that is the can. I don't know if you can really make it out or not, but I can't get much closer than this. And that makes me worried because that's where our charcoal is being made. And I don't know what's going on, why it's like this plume of fire coming out of that can. But now this smokeless stove is really going. There's like barely any smoke going on. It is supremely hot in there. All right, let's see here. Wow, everything has burned down. Now again, this little method here is really just kind of a good idea kind of thing. Like you're already having a campfire, pack a can with little pieces of wood and, you know, make yourself some charcoal. I'm zoomed in, it looks like. There we go. Probably should have different footwear on, but this is not going to be a short anyway unless I completely re-edit it. Now, don't let anything fool you. Physics still works, and despite the fact that it is freezing outside, that can is still hot. So I'm going to go use those two sticks as tongs to see if I can get it out, because this is kind of like a can you do this kind of thing, you know? So I'm going to use like the cheapest, most available tool for me, but I can't hold my phone and do this at the same time. Okay, so we got the can out, we got the lid off. It was as simple as dropping it on the ground, because that's what I did, because my tong skills are not that great. And you can still see that some of it is still smoldering here, so I don't know how good of a job we really did. But I mean, yeah, so the gases, while we had a
flame shooting out of the can is actually because as you're making this, the methane from inside the wood was coming out. Methane, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, all these things were coming out. And now we have charcoal. And some of it's still a little bit woody and everything, and there's still more in there. And now this, because this is closer to just pure carbon, this is going to burn cleaner and longer with more even heat than wood would. So, yeah, and it's still kind of burning.
Oh. Oh gosh. All right. So that was charcoal. Oh, it is freezing outside. Oh gosh. Now, some of the things that I wanted to try with this is I thought about doing like forge stuff. Not like modern forge stuff, like primitive forge stuff, just trying it out. I don't really want to, be crazy or anything. I just thought it'd be really, really neat to try. Just to see if I could heat up something into, anyway. The other thing is just to try it out, because I recently saw something where someone was using coffee grounds and wood shavings to make bricks for, biochar, or not even biochar, but like coffee ground logs. So I thought, why not try this as well? And I kind of want to try coffee grounds, wood chips, and the kiln here that I just used, that can. Maybe not that can, but a can for making biochar out of coffee grounds and wood chips. I guess it really depends on how successful this video ends up being. I mean, there's lots of different reasons for making charcoal and using charcoal. I will say that unless I have a large assortment of cans of that, I don't think I'm ever going to do it like at a, I'm not going to try doing this all the time or anything. But for experimentation, yeah, it's fun. That being said, just seeing if I can make biochar and whatnot. This is like step one. That's going to be step two. So like and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this whole thing.